The Locked Diaries echo. Dr. Clara Hensley's office smelled of lavender and old books, a sanctuary carved from oak shelves and muted lamplight in a quiet corner of Portland. At 52, she was a therapist known for her patience, her ability to unravel the knottiest human hearts with a gentle question or a knowing nod. Her clients, grieving widows, anxious teens, fractured families, trusted her implicitly, not just for her skill, but for the way she carried their secrets like a gardener tending fragile blooms. Her diary, a leather-bound relic tucked in a locked drawer, held those secrets. Raw notes, unfiltered thoughts, and observations too delicate for case files. It was her private compass, guiding her through decades of listening to pain. But Clara never imagined that diary would become a weapon, or that her betrayer would be her own daughter, Elise. Elise, 28, had always been a storm to Clara's calm. As a child, she'd drawn murals on the walls with stolen markers, her laughter louder than her apologies. Clara raised her alone after her husband left, pouring love into Elise's jagged edges, hoping discipline and affection would smooth them. By college, Elise was a law student, sharp-witted but reckless, her ambition outpacing her ethics. Their bond frayed over time. Elise's calls dwindled, her visits rarer, but Clara clung to hope. Keeping a photo of Elise's graduation on her desk, her cap tilted defiantly. When Elise returned to Portland, claiming a fresh start, Clara believed her. That belief was her first mistake. It began subtly. Elise, now a junior attorney, asked to shadow Clara's practice, citing an interest in family law. "I want to help people like you do, Mom," she said, her eyes soft with a sincerity Clara hadn't seen since childhood. Clara, heart swelling, agreed, letting Elise sit in on sessions, trusting her to honor confidentiality. But Elise's questions grew pointed about client files, Clara's methods, her record keeping. Clara chalked it up to professional curiosity, blind to the shadow creeping closer. The betrayal surfaced in a custody battle case. Elise, representing a wealthy client, needed leverage against the opposing parent, a former patient of Clara's. One evening, Clara found her diary misplaced, its lock scratched, pages slightly creased. Her stomach churned as she read her own words, intimate notes about the patient's vulnerabilities, quoted verbatim in a court filing Elise had prepared. The filing, submitted under seal, twisted Clara's observations to paint the parent as unfit, jeopardizing a scandal that threatened Clara's license. Elise denied it, her voice honeyed with indignation. "Mom, I'd never do that. Maybe you left it open somewhere." But the locked scars told a different story, and Clara's trust began to crack. Gaslighting followed, a tactic Elise wielded with lawyerly precision. She dropped by Clara's office, casually mentioning careless therapists she'd heard of, planting doubts about Clara's memory. "You're stressed, Mom. You probably forgot to lock it." When Clara pressed, Elise deflected with tears, accusing her of distrust. "After all I've done to rebuild with you?" She'd sob, turning Clara's resolve to guilt. Clara, trained to see through manipulation, missed it in her daughter, a blind spot carved by love. Elise's visits became a chess game, warm smiles masking cold intent, each move calculated to erode Clara's confidence. The truth crystallized when Clara, sleepless, checked her office's security logs. A late-night entry showed Elise's keycard swipe, hours after Clara had locked up. Confronted, Elise scoffed. "You're paranoid, Mom. I was just grabbing files for my case." But Clara's diary, now kept in a safe, held new evidence. A torn page, slipped into Elise's purse, detailing another client's trauma. Elise was building a cache, using Clara's words to blackmail clients into settlements, her legal career climbing on the rubble of her mother's ethics. Clara didn't scream or cry. She sat in her armchair, the same one where she'd rocked Elise to sleep decades ago, and felt something shift. Not rage, but a cold clarity. Her daughter wasn't just lost. She was a predator in a tailored suit. Clara's training told her manipulation thrived on silence, so she chose a different path. Not confrontation, but creation. She'd weave a trap with the same precision Elise used to unravel her. Clara began by planting decoys. She started a new diary, filled with fabricated client stories, plausible but invented, each laced with subtle inconsistencies. A client with a fabricated gambling addiction, another with a non-existent affair, all documented in her looping script. She left this diary in her old drawer, lock weakened, bait for Elise's prying hands. Meanwhile, she moved her real notes to a digital vault, encrypted beyond reach. Clara knew Elise's ambition would blind her to the ruse. Greed made her sloppy. Elise took the bait. Within weeks, Clara's falsified notes appeared in another court filing, this time in a high-profile divorce case. The opposing counsel, tipped off by an anonymous email from Clara sent via a burner account, challenged the evidence. The inconsistencies, dates that didn't align, details contradicting public records, sparked scrutiny. The judge, incensed by the apparent fraud, ordered an ethics review of Elise's firm. Clara's heart ached as she watched the dominoes fall, but her resolve held. She wasn't destroying Elise. She was exposing her. The investigation deepened when Clara, with the help of a retired colleague, Dr. Vernon, leaked more addendums to the fabricated diary entries. These were crafted to implicate Elise directly. Forged signatures, backdated timestamps, and references to non-existent meetings, all mirroring Elise's real tactics. Vernon, a grizzled psychologist with a knack for legal loopholes, ensured the leaks reached the State Bar Association. "You're sure about this, Clara?" he asked, his voice heavy. "She's my daughter, but she's not my child anymore," Clara replied, her eyes dry but distant. Elise's unraveling was swift. The Bar Association summoned her, citing gross ethical violations. Her firm's smelling scandal distanced itself, suspending her pending review. Clients dropped her, whispering of betrayal. Elise, cornered, called Clara, her voice a mix of fury and panic. "You did this, didn't you? You set me up." Clara, stirring chamomile tea in her kitchen, replied softly, "I didn't take anything from you, Elise. I just showed the world what you took from me." She hung up, the click echoing like a gavel. Clara's office became a battlefield of memory. She kept Elise's childhood drawings pinned to a corkboard, a reminder of the girl she'd lost. But she also framed a new mantra above her desk. Truth is the loudest silence. As Elise's license hung in the balance, Clara wrote a letter, not for Elise, but for herself, tucked into the real diary's final page. "My dearest Elise," it began, "you my heart, my time, my trust. You traded them for power, but power crumbles when built on lies. I don't hate you. I mourn you. But I am no longer the mother who waits. I am the woman who sees." The hearing was clinical, held in a gray Portland conference room. Elise, in a navy blazer, sat alone, her charm replaced by a hunted look. Clara attended, not as a mother, but as a witness, her presence requested by Vernon's Bar Association contact. When Elise's forged filings were presented, Clara's fabricated notes now evidence of misconduct, she didn't flinch. The panel read Clara's original complaint, detailing the diary thefts, supported by security logs and handwriting analysis. Elise's defense crumbled. Her denials sounded hollow against the paper trail Clara had meticulously built. The bar revoked Elise's license, citing deliberate falsification and breach of trust. Social media buzzed with snippets of the case, anonymized but damning, branding Elise as the lawyer who stole her mother's soul. Clara, watching from her office, felt no triumph, only a hollow peace. She'd won, but the cost was her daughter's shadow lingering in every quiet moment. Elise vanished from Portland, her apartment emptied overnight. Rumors placed her in Seattle, clerking for a low-end firm, her name a whisper of scandal. Clara didn't pursue her. Instead, she resumed her practice, her clients none the wiser, though her sessions now carried a sharper edge. She taught them to spot manipulation, to trust their instincts. Vernon brought her coffee weekly, their talks a balm for the ache Elise left behind. One rainy evening, Clara found a note slipped under her office door. Unsigned in Elise's looping script, it read, "I'm sorry. I didn't know how to stop." Clara held it, her fingers tracing the ink, then placed it in her diary without reply. She locked the drawer, turned off the lamp, and stepped into the rain, her scarf tight against the chill. The city hummed around her, oblivious to the storm she'd weathered. Clara never saw Elise again. Her diary, now a relic of lessons learned, stayed locked, its pages a testament to a mother's love and a woman's justice. In the quiet of her office, Clara smiled, not with joy, but with the weight of knowing she'd faced betrayal and answered with truth. The echo of that locked diary would linger, a reminder that even the deepest wounds could birth resilience, and that sometimes the truest revenge is letting the world see a liar's face unmasked.